Aloha from Maui. This is Shelby with Unjected, just checking in on, unfortunately, the tragedy that has occurred over the course of the past week here on island after a fire devastated the town of Lahaina. Unfortunately, we're finding out that the news is even worse and it's leading on now due to these terrible fires that we've had in Lahaina as well as on the other side of the island in Kula. We're experiencing now an issue with the water supply. We're being told that the water is not safe to drink. It's also not safe after boiling, which is quite frightening. And we don't know how long that these restrictions are going to be lasting on the public. We're also hearing that the potable water being brought in by government officials is making people ill for whatever reason. They're experiencing fevers, chills, and other ailments from drinking this potable water that's been left. So I really urge you guys to please be careful on, ingesting this water and where you're getting it from. And in response to this issue that we're having on the island, Unjected, the wellness company, and the upcoming company Infuse, they're going to be sending out emergency hydration satchels that don't require water. They're going to have, amino acids, glutathione, and everything that these, survivors of these fires are going to need to supplement themselves, of course, and providing the vital hydration that they need so they're not being dehydrated. Going long stints without safe water to drink. So I would love to let you guys know that these are on their way to the island. We're so grateful for Infuse sending that and halting their other distribution to make sure that's possible. As soon as they arrive on island, I will be sure to keep you all posted. We're going to be bringing them down to the supply docks in Kihei, where they will be making their way to the west side. And as well, I will be taking them over to Kula to anybody who may need them. So thank you so much for helping our little island home. And please send all of your prayers and blessings to Maui. Aloha.
And this is what I was trying to report to you all the other day. That now they're claiming that the water supply has been tainted and no one can drink the water. They're saying that, even if you boil it, it's still dangerous. You could not drink the water. So everyone is having to rely on the government for water. And the water that they're bringing to these people, from what is being said, allegedly, it's making people really sick. And that doesn't surprise me at all. And it's just yet another coincidence. It's just a little coinky dink that's adding up. We have 25 coinky dinks, involved in this fire now. All of these coincidences, the water's shut off. Now the water's poisoned. We're not going to sound the alarm. Now the water we're giving you is poisoned. It's obvious. It's so obvious. And every day, I gotta say at this point, every day I wake up and I ask I ask the higher powers in the universe, whoever you want that higher power to be, I ask them, why? Why did you choose to surround me with so many dumbasses? People who cannot see what is literally happening right in our faces every day. I thank the heavens every day that I have this little community that I'm building on YouTube with you all. And I see that I'm not alone on earth. I see that there's still people out there with common sense who can see through this nonsense, who realize that, there's something really, really crazy going on in the world right now. For the last few years, even longer if you want to be technical, things have gotten really crazy. Now, of course, these plans have been in the works for a long time. And I'm not here to deny that. But we've reached a point where it's undeniable. Back in the day, crazy things would happen. JFK gets shot. You're like, oh, it's the CIA, but I don't really know. You know what I mean? Like, you had your weird things popping off. Trust me, this has been a slow burn. We didn't get to this point overnight, but we're now in the day and age where they're not really trying to hide things anymore. And even when they do, we have the access of the internet and all of this technology. And if people are catching on, we're able to see through the BS. But unfortunately, a lot of people can't still. Even though it's right there in your face, a lot of people just cannot put the pieces together for some reason. And I feel so terrible for those people. But at the same time, I look at those people and I know that y'all are the reason why we have to deal with all of this nonsense and just go along with it. We just have to sit here and go along with all of these lies as if we don't know that they're all out to get us. We're basically all under attack right now on every single level. You are being attacked physically, emotionally, psychologically, on every level, folks. Every level you can think of. And then you see things like what's happening down in Lahaina. And, I mean, it wasn't hard to start putting the pieces together. It really wasn't. And with all of the information that we have about what happened down there, I don't understand why people don't get it yet. How do you not get it? How do you hear about them blocking people from escaping, turning the water off, and still not get it? And then here we are now, weeks after the fire, and it just so happens that everyone is reporting that the water that they're getting from the government is making them sick as well. It's so insane. But before I go too crazy on this rant, let's go ahead and dive into this clip because I want you all to hear what these locals have to say. And then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
Family, because that's our family from Lahaina. We basically want accountability of people who are responsible for this. We have questions in regards to the electric company, why they never turned off the power that day, and they should be held liable for this. People should be held liable for this because this is gross negligence. This should be standard operating procedure that power should have been turned off. The police, why did the police block people from coming and exiting? They had lines of people lined on Front Street, and people's lives have been lost because of that. The police was blocking the road over there by Chart House, and that the lines was not down from Wahikuli yet. Is it the only place, Kelawea or Mauka, where Halemahaolu burnt down? I was told by people who escaped there on foot that the officer had blocked the road. People could not get out. My brother literally had to go cut the chain off of the old sugar mill camp area to let people out of the top of Kelawea Mauka. And that's how people got out because the roads were all blocked. Hundreds of people were backed up there with people in their cars, and a lot of people lost their lives, from what I understand. It needs to be investigated by a third party that is not associated with the government. We don't trust the government because of what has happened. The state wants to purchase all this land and come in and open it for the working class and also work. How does he think that he should get this land? This land belongs to the people already. People in Lahaina are angry. Like, I'm an attorney myself. And I question, there's so many things that are questionable that has happened here. And we need to have clarity, transparency on all these things. We were blocked out from coming back into Lahaina. I was blocked out several days. I could not come in. There was chaos. People was rioting at the stops. People told us it was fires, but my cousins told me it actually was riots going on over there, right? With the police officers families wanting to get in. It was mad craziness in the beginning. Now it's all kind of settled down. We're wondering what's on those documents for FEMA. I don't know what's on the documents myself. I haven't seen any documents. I don't even know. And we're afraid to sign documents because right after that, the governor says, oh, I'm going to take the land. The government is liable for this, grossly negligent, at least if not criminally negligent. And they should clean up all that land, restore that land to the people who own that because they failed here. They failed. The government failed.
Okay.
And then the last point is this. The water and the issue with that water, why all that water wasn't coming down that mountain. From what I understand, they had to go ask the Kalo farmers up the mountain about that. When emergency, there's no excuse that the water didn't come down that mountain. And they shouldn't have to say that they had to the point where it destroyed all of Lahaina. That's the other side of it. Because we're hearing half of Lahaina that agrees with this stuff, and the other half, now we speaking up because our families are suffering from it. I also live off the land. I'm on land that has water coming down that valley. And I'm off the grid. But I don't agree with that thing caused this to have no water for the homes, and the fire is burning up the places, and it's not West Maui land's fault.
Okay, well, you raise very good questions, but we have other testifiers as well.
Thank you. And we want accountability. We want accountability. Lahaina wants accountability.
And for expressing their rage.
That's what I'm talking about. It's an emergency. People need water. That's common sense. Open the water. That's what the water
Mahalo for your
people ask for.
clarification,
All I
Mr.
know, this is what's being
Hell,
said.
I want accountability too. And I don't even live in Lahaina. I've never been to Hawaii. And I want accountability. And I think people, we have to start understanding that eventually stuff like this is going to make it to your backyard. It's going to make it to your town, your city, your street, your neighborhood, your block, wherever you're at. I don't care if you're in the backwoods somewhere. Eventually, this stuff is going to make it to your doorstep. So that's why we all need to be demanding accountability every time something like this happens. We don't need to leave it up to the people of Lahaina. We don't need to leave it up to the people of East Palestine, Ohio. We don't need to leave it up to just these small communities to fight for their rights and to, fight for the truth. We all must come together and do so. And that's the only way we're going to stop things like this from happening in our areas. But spoiler alert, let me tell you how this is going to play out. There's going to be people pointing the fingers. No one's ever going to be held accountable. A lot of people are going to lose their land. It's going to be a complete catastrophe. It's going to continue to get worse. They're going to continue to lie about the numbers. And unfortunately, we're headed into a time where there's going to be some hurricanes hitting soon in Florida and in other areas. And that's going to, take the news cycle elsewhere. There'll be another disaster that they're going to capitalize off of. And then you're not going to hear them talking about Lahaina anymore. You will hear them talking about somewhere else. And just to let you know, heads up, I got a lot of hurricanes heading my way. I'm used to it. I've been caught in, how many hurricanes have I been through? I don't want to over exaggerate too much, but it has to be at least over 30. I've been through at least 30 hurricanes at this point in my life, probably even a little bit more. But just to let you all know, that's what I'm dealing with now. So if you don't hear from me for a couple of days, I may be floating down the river somewhere or floating down the middle of the street with my floaties and my 2 dogs. You never know, okay? But the point is that I already see where this is going. It's the same thing that happens in all of these catastrophes. Everyone has these questions. Everyone's demanding answers. No one ever gets answers. And, it's just on to the next. But I really hope that eventually people start understanding that even if it's not your community, even if it's not your state, it doesn't matter. If you take a stand at some point, hopefully you stop things from coming your way. It's like, the matches. You burn them and burn them and burn them. But if you just take one match away, then the rest can't burn. We have to be that match. We have to step out of the dominoes. It's a domino effect. Boom, 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 boom. All it takes is for us to just stop and step away for a moment. And we can stop a lot of these things from happening. But let me know your thoughts about all of this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next video.